Hi, this is Larry Jordan at the 2024 NAB Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. NAB is a celebration of technology. It's a celebration of what's happening right now. But for every one of the companies that exhibits here, it's also a chance to explore what's coming in the future. And one of the questions that I asked as I was interviewing key vendors here at the show are what are some of the trends that they're paying attention to that we need to watch? Here are some of their answers.
Well, if I could give you a precise answer of that, I would very likely not standing here. I would be maybe running my own business. No, but the thing is, of course, we see certain trends, and in the past few years, the trend was mainly about new formats like UHD, like HDR, how to improve quality and so on. But today, the bigger topic is actually how to improve efficiency. How can I make more with the same resources or with given resources, because there is really a really high pressure on budgets, and doing more with less is a big thing.
The biggest pivot that we've made is bringing down the barrier of entry for our vocal booths.
When I think about future trends, I think one of the most interesting is we're seeing a shift from selling and building products that are directly for enterprise, which is what NAB often is. We're talking to IT departments, studio tech teams, and things like that. I think we're going to see, with the creator economy completely exploding, Goldman Sachs shows data that says the creator economy is going to double to 4 million people. Listen to this, 4 million people are going to be earning more than 6 figures a year with their YouTube and TikTok channels by 2028. The creator economy is an economy that's growing so fast that it means manufacturers have to build stuff and they have to be able to sell it to the user. So that changes how you approach building it, because I think we often sell to the buyer, and the buyer isn't necessarily the user. That's going to shift with the creator economy. And the companies that figure that out, they're going to change the look of their stuff, their approach, even the tech stack. And the companies that don't are going to be stuck only selling to enterprise. And I think as the creator economy expands, they're going to miss out on a big opportunity.
One of the most exciting things that we're just doing as a company is we've taken some of those production tools that are really top-end, high-tier, only available to those networks and things like that, and we've taken them downscale to where they're more affordable, they're easier to use because you don't always have the technical prowess at those lower levels. But we've taken some of those products down. Those are called our Go product, where normally you would see that product only at the very top end. We now have a version that can move down to more of those people that are in that smaller production space.
It's a good question, because it's obviously a trend to use less expensive equipment, and specifically smartphones, but you still need to get multiple angles, and especially PTZ cameras allow you to have multiple angles remotely controlled. You don't need to use that many people, because if you use iPhone or any phone, you have to have people operating every device, just like traditional cameras in the studio. With the PTZ cameras, you can have many cameras, all remotely controlled, less people, and get much more entertaining production, I think.
Well, we're seeing lots of emphasis around different forms of camera workflows and ingest workflows to get content into the systems and get it into use as quickly as possible. So we see a lot of areas of potential interest for us around the camera to cloud or camera to edit, to try and get that content in as quickly as possible, even if that's in lower resolutions for first options and then higher resolution for finishing. Just try again to get content in and working on as quickly as possible.
Automatic production, automated production. People like to call it AI. I don't like that term, because they're just simple things that we have to do manually that a computer can do for us.
The ability to just share things across the internet, across cloud connections, across cloud storage, across high-speed managed storage and facilities. All this IP stuff is just mind-boggling to us, and we can't wait to see where it goes.
The future is really one where everything is based on IT. We've been hearing, software-defined, IP, all these terms have been kicking around for a long time. And then the cloud came along, the pandemic came along, people were, forced to accelerate their adoption of these kinds of workflows. And so we saw for a period of 2, 3, 4 years this accelerated move to the cloud. And that was done primarily through a lift and shift approach. I have my current video-based product or system, and people want to work with it remotely. So I'm going to find a way to turn that into software and run it on a virtual machine in the cloud. But that doesn't mean it's an IT native device. It means it's a video device living in an IT world. And so you suffer all these compromises from latency, transcoding, encoding, all of the problems of getting something from a clock-driven video world into an event-driven IT world. And so the future is going to be where video is only used at acquisition and for the final distribution. And in between those two steps, everything will be turned into bits and bytes and worked in a software-defined, cloud-native domain.
The biggest one is AI, of course, but we're also seeing an interesting balancing act between how much media people are going to have in the cloud and how much they're going to have on premise. Before COVID, it was mostly on-premise. A lot of people moved significantly to the cloud during COVID, and now as they look at the monthly bill for that cloud, they're either getting smarter about how they manage that and using vendors like Backblaze, or they're bringing a lot of it back on-premise, because in fact, that's the most cost-effective place to have multi-hundreds of terabytes or petabytes of media.
So what we see is, of course, growing formats, growing file sizes, and the diversity of production formats. So they spread out from, as I said, mobile to high-end 8K, 16K, crazy stuff. So the gamut grows, basically. And that's a challenge to keep all of that in a production workflow.
There's another important part. The creator, how they express themselves. We, in our tools, when we make our tools, we need to provide them methods that we can understand the creative better. And I'll give you an example. People are familiar with ChatGPT, right? They can just converse in any language and basically say, ask questions of ChatGPT. What we are showing and what we're tracking to is, how about a natural language interface that allows you to just inquire, not just about the general world, but the content that you're working with.
In microphones, people want big sound, but they always want the microphone to get smaller and smaller. And directors, especially we're here at NAB, are always looking at the visuals. So I do see the technologies going for even smaller and even better sound. And also, you know, there's all the new technologies that AI is bringing in and different ways of Bluetoothing. So all these technologies are giving us a way to get high quality sound capture through different mediums. And I think that we have to keep our eye on all of that, because we like keeping things in the acoustic realm as the first line of acquisition.
The trends that we're watching for the future primarily are, how is audio going to be transported? And we made a commitment about 6 years ago to Dante being our digital audio over Ethernet means. And then starting 3 years ago, we started addressing the ST2110 standard that the broadcasters seem to use.
The first thing I would say is color tunability. First, everyone wanted to get LEDs is great, less power to be able to get light out of things up, okay, but then you got into bicolor. At first they were daylight only, and then you got into bicolor, so you had some basic flexibility in the color temperature, and then it's how all the different form factors that you might use in order to get the work that you want to do, because it's not just about having the right color light, it's about shaping the light to be able to create whatever you want. And then it gets into portability and different ways of rigging and stuff. And we just try to answer the question from small to large, all the different types of form factors, and then make everything integrate together. Because now everyone wants to walk around with an iPad and walk around and control their lights as they're moving around and to be able to set everything to match.
So one of the exciting things that we're looking at is whether we're going to see more increased demand for higher luminance displays, right? So right now, almost all masters are being made for 1,000 nits, but there's been some push for 2,000 or 4,000 nit masters. So that's why we now have a 2,000 nit display, and what I'm looking forward to is the quantum dot OLED technology keeps improving over time, keeps getting brighter. I think we may eventually see that technology get to even higher peak luminance levels. The question will be, does Hollywood take advantage of it or not?
I think that there's a nascent a nascent technology that is here that we saw a few years ago, which is AR, VR. I think with Apple's announcement with Vision Pro, I think that you're going to see a boom in the content that's needed for that platform. And that new things need to get created, from tools to workflows to technologies to be able to support that boom in content creation for XR, VR, AR applications. In the creative space, everybody is very fearful and on their heels about AI because it feels very threatening that it's somehow going to take over the industry and people are going to go away. And I don't think that that's the case. I think that what AI is going to do is really elevate the content creation, allow creators to create better, more effective content, and really democratize the mundane.
So obviously the trends that are important for the industry is higher quality content, faster content delivery. How do you make content at scale for all of the new networks that you need to go on, be it the social media networks or more content for the streaming platforms? So what we really try to do is get ahead of that and make sure that you can create the highest quality content fast and easy in real time with the best of your ability on your computer.
At the 2024 NAB Show, my name is Larry Jordan, and thanks for watching.